mankind hesitated to eradicate the creatures that stand in the path of his conquest. If we find ritual extirpation of undesirable odors from another world, the rest must be destroyed. Is it possible that our dark past? Watch them and pray.
Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, government agents, those currently braving the side effects of Plan B, and anybody who might be listening. This is Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. I am your host, Tasker, and hosting as usual, and hopefully continually, Nick.
Hopefully continual.
Yeah, you sent in your letter of resignation yesterday, and I made sure to rip it on screen and said, "You belong to me." I think that's how it went.
Look, buddy, I'm not an NFL player and I'm not a slave. You don't own me. If I want to quit this podcast and pursue my real dream, I'm going to do it. All right. And then you're stuck with the podcast and you have to look up all the weird topics and you have to do the research.
Well, I have to sort of develop a multiple personality disorder in order to fill in the spot but I got to ask though, I'm more curious about what is your real dream? What is this thing that your post Valentine's post nut clarity? What is this dream that you foresee in your third eye?
I am destined to be a librarian, and not just like a librarian at your local community college or at a school. I'm destined to be a librarian at an old a library full of leather-bound books. And I am destined to memorize and utilize the Dewey Decimal System every single second I'm living. And that is what I want to do. So this is my last episode hosting Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. Tasker is currently looking for new talent to take my place.
And the new talent that we'll end up choosing is Nick, but just like who shaved off his beard and cut his hair.
Well, actually, you know what? As a librarian of an old library, I'm growing out my beard and growing out my hair. I'm going to look like Jesus in a tweed suit.
I'm going to look forward to that. I think somebody out there will grab their wiener and rub it up and down very frequently to it. And you know what, man, I'm happy for you. But like I said, letter of resignation was rejected. You can appeal it all you want, but we'll see how far you can go.
All right. Well, if you guys hear me on the next episode, it's because I couldn't get out of my contract. But technically, Tasker is my boss.
Yeah, and the contract is what's the word? Not to be determined. It's an indefinite contract, which I kind of early on I knew I did that thing where it's you go into Microsoft Word and then you type it in white and it looks like it's double space, but in this little double spaces, it's actually white text. So Nick actually had no idea that he was signing his entire life away to me,
which was illegal. Well, I don't know. It just seems shady. So I'm trying to fight it in court right now, basically, ladies and gentlemen. So if I'm not here, you know where I am. I'm at a library somewhere, yelling at children and masturbating behind the desk, but not in that order, not necessarily at the same time.
I'm glad your priorities are coming to light. And it's totally not just because we had a meeting yesterday about we need more drama. The people like drama. We need to start some shit.
Yeah. So and that's definitely not why I'm leaving. I'm not saying that just to be clickbaity, right?
No, never. We would not do that. We are nothing but honest and upfront with everybody at all times.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, that whole looking like Jesus thing, though I will look like him except for being Middle Eastern.
Well, at least you got the ethnicity right.
Airports are already a pain in my ass. I don't need it you know what I mean? I don't need to get stopped everywhere I go. All right.
You jump, you do the triple somersault, and then then you punch a baby. That just seems to be your MO.
Whatever, man. It's just I'm just saying what other people are thinking, and I have the balls to say things that other people are thinking.
How brave of you.
I'm still thinking, hey, wow, it's still Black History Month. How long is this going to go on for?
God damn it. No. It's just, I can't believe it. We already got it. I thought we got it out of our systems. Yes, it is still Black History Month, and there's nothing you can do about it except, maybe learn something.
That's fine. I didn't mean that, guys. I'm sorry. I'm stupid hungover. I've been drinking nothing but absinthe for 3 days straight. All right. And the green fairy has visited me multiple times. So if I seem a little grumpy today, I'm sorry.
Well, and you got it's not just like absinthe, because absinthe imported from like the real deal is from Europe. And in America, usually you just get the American made one, but you have it's from France, right? Like it was an imported bottle.
It was an imported bottle with 2 types of wormwood in it.
Ooh.
And
Now
I don't know. It's gross.
Well, you got to answer the age-old question then, because you've already described its taste. But now, did you hallucinate, or did you just get insanely drunk that it's very easy to mistake the fact of what you saw as hallucination?
That's a good question. I don't know if I hallucinated, but it was definitely a different type of drunk. We usually when I'm drunk, I'm jovial and happy, and I get kind of tired, right? I was all on absinthe. I was all hyped up, and I was like kind of act like I found things that aren't funny. It was weird. It was a different kind of drunk. So I don't know, but highly recommend it to anybody looking to up their game. It's 62% alcohol. Get good. The next step after that is probably just Everclear, right?
Jesus. Yeah. Basically just drinking rubbing alcohol at that point.
Yeah. So it was fun, but I'm paying for it today, man. I feel like absolute fucking garbage. And I've been eating nothing but spicy food and drinking nothing but absinthe for 3 days. So my stomach is a mess. My brain is a mess. And if I say anything extra offensive today, it's because I'm coping. All right. So that, you know what? I'm still glad it's Black History Month. All right.
Taking it out on the masses and the ethnic masses too. So, hey, you know what, man? That's the power. Welcome. At least we're in America where you have freedom of speech, and this is well within your boundaries. And you know what? A lot of people in the vague Western United States are probably very happy to hear it.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I'm sure those fucking white people are, man. White people are fucking crazy. Look, I know we need to get into the episode. We got to do our horoscopes. I'm going to save this for later, but there's something that we need to talk about. And I'm going to bring it up at a random point in this episode, just so we can get a move on right now. Right. We need to talk about that bitch. I'm sorry, that broad from The Mandalorian getting canceled. We need to talk about that. I have things that I need to say.
Oh, yeah. That was a very curious change of events. I'm interested in what your opinions are.
You probably already know.
But yeah, I could take a guess, but
I'm not happy. But we will talk about it soon, and you'll see why. It's not because I support the anti-Semitic shit that she was. Well, not really whatever. We'll get into it. Right. That's the problem. That's the fucking problem, man. We'll get into it. All right. Let's just do our goddamn horoscopes. Disney, if you're listening to this, suck my balls. All right.
Probably the best segue you've come up with to date. So
thank you.
That being said, did you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll go first today. I need to calm down a little bit. Be open and honest about your feelings toward others today, Cancer.
Already done.
Check. Your receptive nature should be ready. Take a break and let others come to you. Unexpected events may pop out of nowhere. Opportunities for new growth in love and romance are definitely at your fingertips. So, you know what I mean? As long as you're ready to receive them. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
I mean, I'm not ready to take that step yet. My butt is still tight, and I want to keep it that way.
You spent Valentine's Day in the gas station bathroom?
Yeah, getting pegged.
Yeah. It could be worse ways you could have spent that day.
I mean, honestly, there's a G-spot in there.
That's true.
Don't try to force the issue. If the time and place aren't right, let it flow. Jesus Christ, man. This is wow.
It's called out right by your horoscope too.
My horoscope just thinks that I'm looking to get railed by a femboy or something.
Probably. You're saying that like, wishful thinking.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that. All right. I refuse.
Plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth on that only because, I don't like being personal on the podcast, right? I don't like, people knowing my stuff.
Well, and also too, talking about anything true or not, exaggerated or not, it's hard to say what's the exact truth. So if we even joke about the fact that you might want to be pegged by a femboy, well, guess what? In your fucking PO box in the future, your email, we're just going to be spammed with a bunch of links to, clout chasing femboys. We got to think about that kind of stuff now that we have we more than 10 listens per episode.
Yeah, I mean, we got to worry about femboy knocking on my door saying, "Hey, I heard what you said on the podcast. I brought the KY. Yeah, I brought the KY. So we doing this?" And I'm like, "Look, man, it was a joke. It's what we in the industry call satire."
Now, and that would be impressive if they could even find you, because I mean, you've taken extensive measures to keep yourself hidden and off the grid, and but you know what? You never know.
Yeah, you never know, dude. They're shifty.
Shifty people.
They're shifty people because they look like broads, but they're not. Oh, is that not what we're talking about? We're not talking about femboys?
I was just in general.
Oh, well, you know what? Let's skip to the stars. Apparently, something's on my mind.
Oh man, it's because we like that femboy Hooters memes too much.
Yeah, one day it'll open up.
Yep, and we'll what is it? Well, there was so many. There was like femboy Hooters. There was goth IHOP, I think.
What was the Outback one? There was an Outback one. I forgot.
Tomboy Outback.
Tomboy Outback. Yeah, buddy. That's it.
Very nice.
Gender and sexual orientation is fluid. Okay, so my stars today actually represent how I feel. So sex is a 2 out of 5, not revved up at all. Okay. My vibe is a 2 out of 5. I'm not vibing today. I'm going to be upfront with you guys. Okay.
It's fair.
My hustle is a 3 out of 5. Yes, I still got the outline done. I'm hustling a little bit, but not crazy. All right. And my success is a 3 out of 5 because I've done nothing but sit on my ass and play WoW. But I'm still getting the podcast done today, so slightly successful.
Nice. Do you have the little frowny face in the top right corner of the star rating thing?
I have a Asian lady going like this. Like shrugging. She's like shrugging, like I don't know.
Is that how you feel? Like a shrugging Asian lady?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My back feels like an old Asian lady's back right now too. So.
Oh man, and we don't even pay for our horoscopes. We use the free website, and it's just they do a good job.
Oh, but really quick, I did want to point out, I know we don't usually talk about matches, but it has like your today's matches things. My friendship is Scorpio.
Hey, so dude, we picked a good time to record this. We did. Friendship is at its celestial peak.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's the one good thing coming out of my horoscope today.
Yeah, that is good to see, because normally they had yours on the love one on mine, so that's when things got a little heated.
That's when we were full mass the whole episode.
Yep, just like last week. And this week, like you said, it's like semi-chub at best.
Mine's inside of me. I am not feeling it.
Which one could argue is a perfect status for battle.
Yes, exactly.
One less weak point. So let me go into mine. Let's see. You will enjoy a great deal of affection from others today, Scorpio. You radiate an air of love and beauty. It's called coffee. Love will come in strong, erratic bursts, and you should be on the alert to expect the unexpected. New people will pop out of the woodwork to share their feelings. All group activities are favored, and you're sure to be the life of any party. It's COVID, so first of all, horoscope, fuck you. And I guess, I don't know. I mean, I don't really, I'm not with contact with a lot of people, so I can't say for certain unless I get a flurry of text messages by the time we finish recording.
Just saying, hey, I love you, man. I love you, man. I love you. Feelings. Yeah. I love you.
Well, I mean, what is it? My girlfriend did post some really nice stuff about our Valentine's Day together, so I can assume that counts.
Hey, tie it in any way you can, man. Tie it in.
I'll take it. They do say half of predictions of the future or your fortunes and all that stuff, half of it is taking a general observation and how your brain automatically applies it to itself and finding a way to make it work and finding a way to make it true because you want it to be true. Some people, because of mysticism, or if you're like me, it's because if you pay for your psychic reading, I want a fucking psychic reading, you know?
Oh, yeah, your shekels, I know, man. Yes.
I want to pay. I want the service I pay for. That's all I gotta say.
I do it for mysticism because I believe in this stuff, and I think that if you can tie it in some way that works, then it's true.
I agree, and like we always say with magic, it's all about intent.
It's intent, and what is your reality, man? Like, what is your reality? You know, like everybody is living a completely different reality.
Exactly, and what is it that you prescribe power to? And that's half of how magic works.
Speaking of prescriptions, I need one right now, dude. I need a prescription for something, dude. I'm talking like Vicodin or, actually Vicodin just sounds dank right now. So if you guys are doctors, any doctors listening to this, first of all, bad choice, right? You guys should probably be listening to like the podcast version of Grey's Anatomy.
Right.
Get better at your craft so you stop killing people. And second of all, please give me some Vicodin.
Right. And of course, we would never endorse felonies on a podcast that anybody can listen to.
What? Is that a felony?
Yeah, you're getting prescription drugs when you don't need them.
My back hurts.
Well, okay, see, that's all you got to do. That's all you had to say, man. Honestly, and that's why we have an opioid epidemic. But hey, is what it is.
Yeah, I can't get everything you want, but look, before we get into the episode, guys, it's good. First of all, it's going to be a fun one. But did want to say, hope you guys had a good Valentine's Day.
Oh, let me quickly segue that because I just got to quickly give my star ratings. Sex was a 2 out of 5, so obviously I'm a bit drained from my wonderful 4 seconds of fun last weekend.
4 seconds, huh?
New record.
Hey, you know what? That's all right, man. I didn't even get it in all the way. It just kind of happened,
See, it's called the 4-3 method. 4 seconds per every 3 hours of crying afterwards, and they get them every time.
Yeah, because they think that you're sentimental. They're like, exactly. Oh, he's crying because you're crying because you fucking came in 4 seconds. And
I start like screaming about like my dad and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Start screaming about Vietnam, and you were never there. So
no, and that's the thing is they feel so bad for me, then they stay. That's not true. I'm gonna say don't do that. That's a terrible way to manipulate people. Don't do that. But
yeah.
Sex is a 2 out of 5. Hustle's a 2 out of 5. Success is a 2 out of 5. But vibe is a 4 out of 5. So I'm like an unemployed hippie.
Good for you, man. I'm jealous. You know what? No, I shouldn't be jealous. That's a bad emotion. I'm supportive of your star rating today.
Thank you. Where it's like everything fucking sucks, but hey, at least you feel good.
Yeah, dude. See, everything sucks for me today, but I'm not feeling good. So it's just like, hey, let's do this. I can manage.
See, it's like, for me, it's like you're like an ass crack that has farted. For me, I'm an ass crack that has farted, but at least somebody shot a little Febreze.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I suppose. Yeah, I do feel like an ass crack today.
But as Nick said, of course, we hope you had a fantastic Valentine's Day. We hope you're all good and cleaned up now, and you managed to stay out of prison, and you managed to stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, and I imagine statistically, now that we have more listeners, by the way, thank you everybody who've been listening and joining and subscribing and doing all the shit. We do appreciate it. Okay.
Yep, we've noticed yet again, we've seen another spike in listens, and we see you out there. We see it happening, and we appreciate you. So if you're just tuning in right now, you're just kind of jumping forth, poking your head into these newer episodes and stuff, like, thank you. And we're glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you guys. But that leads me to my next point is statistically a couple of you out there into scat. All right. And first of all, like I don't kink shame because I can't. I am literally the last person that should be talking. But that's disgusting. And like Tasker said, I hope you guys are cleaned up now. Valentine's is over. Stop shitting on each other's chests and just get ready to listen to a nice episode. Okay.
Yep. The only chocolate you should be eating by now is milk or dark.
Yeah, not corn. That's fucking gross. All right.
Disgusting. That's fucking horrible.
All right.
You
You guys are degenerates, man.
And all those people, we just completely like triggered them back into full mast, and they're going to pause us so they can rub one out before they continue. In which I say, Godspeed.
Godspeed. Just don't throw it around like a monkey, okay?
Very hard to not make an Attack on Titan reference there, but
don't do it, man. I'm not in the mood today. I'm not in the mood today for your your Vietnamese shit. I'm not.
It is in its final season. It's getting pretty whack.
It better be over soon so I can stop hearing about it. All right.
I think May. I think around May is when it's going to be over for good.
Good. No. Good.
It's classic in the making, right before our eyes. It's great.
Yeah, I'm sure Shakespearean actors attending their prestigious acting colleges will use it as reference.
You don't know that. There's some good soliloquies and shit in there.
Yeah, too bad it's in Laotian or whatever.
Japanese.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Right back at you.
Okay. Long intro. I'm hungover, so it's a long intro, but hey, welcome back to Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. For today's episode, we are getting into a mystery. All right, and this is actually going to be a first for Close Encounters, getting into kind of like how do I put this? It's like a mystery. It's not true crime, but it's like a mystery. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? It's a real world mystery. It's
one of those things where, because normally we argue about stuff that Nick believes, then usually I don't. But this is something where it is at such a level of inconclusive that it's just it's a mystery.
Yeah. Hey, good job. Good follow up, man.
Obviously, I didn't read enough Sherlock Holmes to have enough synonyms to dress this up a bit to make it sound more interesting. But yeah, because it's not a conspiracy, it's not an alien, it's just something strange, it's something bizarre, and it's something unsolved.
Yes. There are theories behind this mystery that we'll get into that are right up our alley as far as a podcast, and we'll get into those. So the story involves a strange man from an even stranger place with no definite answers in sight as to what actually happened. But one thing is for sure, it's fucking weird, okay? And it's going to be fun.
I dig weird. I feel like, and that's a better way. It's this episode's just about something weird. And the best part is I don't know anything about this. And as you all know, I don't read anything. So I'm going to be learning just as much as you guys are.
Nice. And you know what? Papa Nick is going to teach you guys. So don't worry about that. And I'll even put subtitles up.
Oh, yeah. No, and the only reason I know it's weird is because I get like the cliff note, like the brief, like the log line, like pitch. Because, if I just let Nick do whatever he wanted, I don't really want to know what that would be like, because then we would do the episode on femboy hooters and people who eat shit for fun.
Yeah. And trust me, I've pitched those and they were vetoed. So we do have a kind of democratic process when it comes to choosing our episodes. And I pitched this one to Tasker. That's literally all he knows about it is a sentence pitch.
Yeah. And I'm taking a risk here because the pitch was, hey, this is about the man from, can I say the title?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about the man from Taured. I'm like, what the fuck's that? You're like, it's weird as hell. It'll be really cool. And I'm like, okay, right, sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty convincing.
I'm easily convinced.
All right, so yes, it is about the man from now I don't know how to pronounce this. I've heard it pronounced two ways: Taured and Taured. I'm going to say Taured because it sounds doper. Let's all be honest, right?
Fine.
But it also kind of sounds like Tourette's.
So. True. I was going to say, and if you say Taured, that makes me think taurine, which is the energy chemical that comes from bull sperm, right?
Yes. So, I drink that straight.
Yep. I was there. I saw it. It was interesting. I think you were the type back when like we were younger where like you'd be like, because remember it was back when we were younger when we first like taurine was first like, it's like, oh, it comes from bull testicles. I think you were the one. I don't know if specifically I could be making shit up for all I know, but like when we figured that out, you were like, cool, and just like fucking drank even more.
Unfortunately, that was probably me.
Sounds like it, but some would kill for that kind of bravery.
Yes, I'm a brave boy.
Headstrong into the planet.
So without further delay, everybody, I need you to grab your passports, head to the airport, get on a plane, assuming that you have your government mandated vaccines that are being used to track and sedate your third eye. And let's dive right in.
Even though they could already do that through your cell phones, right?
It's a lot easier if it's in your bloodstream, my buddy. A
I
lot
guess.
easier, man. And you know what? And you know what they can't do through your cell phone?
What?
They can't shut down that third eye of yours, man. But they can put any chemical they want in that vaccine and just tell us, hey, this is going to fix COVID. But hey, but if you don't have it, you can't go anywhere. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to the grocery store. You can't take a plane or a train or an automobile anywhere. But trust us. You know what I mean?
We can save the COVID politics for another day because we got to figure out what the fuck this Taured, is that the one we decided on? Taured?
I'm going to say Taured because it sounds fancy.
Got it. Taured. All right, let's do it.
Okay, so let's get into the story first, and then we will discuss the theories surrounding what happened. And this is a very interesting story, so people pay attention. It was a warm, almost hot day in July of 1954. A man arrives at the Haneda, I don't know, guys, not Japanese.
Haneda.
Okay, sure. Hanukkah. A man arrives at the Hanukkah or Tokyo International Airport. Okay, it was also known as that. I don't know why they had to make it all Japanesey with that name, right?
They're Japan, but sure.
Okay, well, don't shove it down my throat, right?
Sure.
I mean, look, I'm part Japanese and I fucking hate it. So if that's saying something,
well, fuck them for using their own language.
Yeah. Every other country speaks English, but the Japanese are so xenophobic that they refuse.
Actually, most people in Japan, not most people, but it's not too hard to find somebody in Japan who also speaks English.
You mean English?
In some cases. Did you know that actually English is that's like actually a real thing? Because there is like how I think it's like fries are called fried potatoes or something like that.
Fried potato.
Well, it's because there's no Japanese word for it, so they have to borrow from the English word, and the little mixture of the two. That's in a sense actual English.
Well, hey, maybe they should get good and create more words. Instead of using little stick figures.
Oh my God! Well, we can get into. Oh my God, we're getting so what's the word? Worldly? Is that the right way to put it?
We're becoming cultured.
That's great. I'm glad we're making progress.
Yes. So, a man arrives right at this Tokyo International Airport, and he's a white man, Caucasian, if you will, if you want to be correct about it.
Yes.
But that's technically, it has Asian in it. Doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Never fucking understood that. I'm not a linguist, but I'm going to say white.
Okay. All right. Established.
He was a handsome dude. Kind of skinny, well dressed. Looks like he was there for business, which he was. He had a nice beard, right? Which in the 50s was uncommon, so he probably stood out a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of like yours truly, right? Looking good, sharp dressed, and has a beard, I guess. White for the most part.
The only thing that makes me not think it's you was the fact that you don't sound like a little over 70-year-old man.
That and the fact that I'd never be caught dead at the Tokyo International Airport.
That is also true.
So while interacting with other people at the airport, it was noted that his primary language appeared to be French. However, he was able to speak Japanese quite fluently while interacting with other people at the airport. So he was multilingual and a fairly intelligent fellow from what people could surmise.
Okay.
Now, after getting his luggage, the man walked up to a security officer in order to get his passport stamped, as you do when flying internationally, when the security officer noticed something a little odd. And this is where it gets a little strange, people, okay?
Uh-oh.
the passport itself looked legit, right? It had all the right markings. It contained official stamps from other countries he had been to, including previous stamps from Japan. Nothing different here now, right? It just seems like another airport fiasco in Japan.
Right.
However, the officer noticed that the strange man's home country, his country of origin, according to the passport, was a country called Taured.
Yeah, what the fuck is Taured?
I don't know. We'll get. I was trying to think of a joke and nothing came. Sorry, that's why I paused.
I thought that was dramatic effect. It worked. I was on the edge of my seat.
Okay, guys, look, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay, and I actually pride myself in not being that. Right, I am like in a drawer of knives, and I am the token butter knife. Right,
but you're less bogged down by pointless trivialized facts.
Exactly. I use my brain for important things, like this type of shit. Right. So, like I said, no, I'm not smart. Sure. In fact, I literally cannot name all of the states in the United States. I couldn't do it. But I know off the top of my head that there is no country called Taured in our reality, at least, right?
Yep. As far as I know, too. I mean, like I said, it sounds more like taurine. It sounds like something you'd find in your soft drink.
Yeah, it literally sounds like a zone in World of Warcraft. Okay, there is no country called Taured.
Oh, and isn't there a group called the Taurine?
The Tauren.
Taurens.
Yeah. In fact, I kept typing Tauren throughout this entire outline, and I had to erase the N and put a D every fucking time.
I can see why you wanted to do the subject so bad.
It just made sense.
Just linked together, huh?
Yeah, so understandably concerned, right? The security officer escorted the man, this mysterious dude, to a separate room for interrogation about his passport, along with 2 other security officers. So it was 3 officers and then this strange man. So in that room, it was basically a few Japanese dudes trying to figure out what this man was talking about, probably yelling at him, subtitles flying everywhere. Okay.
Wait, I just got that. You fucking weirdo.
yeah, boy.
Right. Yeah.
I'm so hungover, man. All right, we got this.
Like I said, I'm glad you're testing out your comedy bits as much as you can, sprinkling it throughout.
The best time to do it is when I'm not afraid of failure.
See, there you go, man. And also, I hear too. What is it? As Mitch Hedberg said, you always got to bring a pipe on stage because that's the punchline indicator. When I take out a hit out of this pipe, you fuckers better be laughing.
You know, I hate it when you bring up Mitch Hedberg. I hate it.
Comedian. He's a good comedian. You just don't appreciate him.
He was good at one thing, and it was doing drugs, and he fucked that up.
One could say he did drugs so well that it killed him.
It depends on how you look at it, man. I don't know. All right. And his little pretentious like sunglasses. Anyway,
he had stage fright.
Who gives? Stand-up comedians got stage fright, huh? And he's oh my god, what a big pussy.
Hey, but it didn't stop him from a successful career in comedy.
Yeah, when our expectations were lower and when our standards were a lot lower.
Call it what you will. I think he's good.
Fair. Okay. Everybody can have an opinion.
Yep, we're allowed to.
Okay, so this man was adamant while being interrogated that he was from a country called Taured, and he was confused as to why he was being interrogated about this. And like he seriously believed wholeheartedly, at least to the officers, that it was a real place.
Which kind of makes me think like, I mean, and I don't know if this is something we'll get into later, but maybe he was the byproduct or the finished off and dropped off failed experiment of something like an MK Ultra type deal.
I mean, it could be, but there are some theories that add up to his sheer his sheer believability in this place. I mean, I see where you're coming from with Taured, but with MK Ultra, but it's hard to tell.
I see. Okay. Well, we'll get to the facts when we get to the facts then, huh?
Yeah, but we can talk about that. That's interesting. We'll hammer that out at the theory section.
I see.
So the officers then asked the man for other forms of identification in order to verify his country of origin and his identity. And he did so without hesitation, right? The other documents that he provided, in fact, proved that he was from a country called Taured. So things are adding up, but it's still just as fucking confusing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the Japs were, I'm sorry.
Only
That was my grandfather talking. My white grandfather. I'm sorry.
And remember, it's okay. Nick's allowed to slip up like that because he's got the genes.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things we won't say on the podcast. One of the reasons I am so offensive is because I'm sticking it to cancel culture. I'm sticking it to easily, and this is it. I'm bringing up fucking The Mandalorian. Here's the deal.
Here it is. Okay.
Here's the situation. All right. Yes, she has opinions. Yes, she
Right.
compared one of those opinions to the Holocaust. But it was first of all, she wasn't saying the Holocaust was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay.
Wait. Okay. So before, what did she say? I don't know anything about what happened. I just know she got fired.
Okay. Back in November, she made a couple tweets. Politically leaning tweets. They're opinion based. Nothing fireable.
Right.
Okay. And then recently she made a tweet saying basically that criticizing, and I'm paraphrasing here, but criticizing and quote unquote like attacking like verbally or whatever your neighbors for their political beliefs is just like the Jews being attacked in Nazi Germany or whatever. Right. So she was comparing it to like, you know, or by Jews being attacked by their neighbors in Nazi Germany and helping the overall thing against the Jews, right? Basically being attacked by your neighbors for your beliefs.
And that's why she got fired?
Yes. But you have to remember, Disney is pushing a heavy alt-left agenda, and they can literally get away with anything they want, just like Trump can, apparently. And it's like, I'm not saying, okay, I'm not going to say whether or not I agree with her tweets. That's not my place. But I'm saying everybody's allowed to have opinions. And as long as you're not going on Twitter and saying, hey, man, those Jews are real fucking, what a fire pit, right? You know, making some fucking really bad joke like that. Like, don't take that out of context. Yeah. I don't want to see that as a clip on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. It was in quotations.
Yeah. As long as you're not doing like that kind of stuff where it's like blatant, like it's like, oh, I don't know, man. But then at that point, like, okay, whatever. The point is, for having opinions and comparing it, maybe not so tactfully to the Holocaust, she was fired. And I personally think that's wrong, whether I agree with her or not, because look, I know this isn't my platform. I'm not running for president. I'm just saying I'm fed up with this cancel culture bullshit. I'm fed up with not being able to say things that are on your mind that aren't like killing anybody or bringing us back to the 1800s without all of a sudden you can't get work. Your career and your life is ruined. And I like, that's where I'm headed, right? You guys have heard the things I've said on this podcast.
Yeah.
And I do it on purpose because I am uncancelable. Try it.
Oh yeah, because you don't work in Hollywood.
I'm too big. I mean, I'm too small, so I literally can't get canceled. But there's one voice out there still telling jokes the way they should be told, and including everybody in those jokes, and that's me. And I will continue to be a martyr for the cause until the day when we get big enough and I have to stop saying racist stuff.
You know, that's oddly empowering, I will say. I was edging on every single word. I mean, like in the most sexual sense possible.
Nice.
But part of me though thinks in terms of that situation, I think there was something more going on. I think I do agree. I don't really think that was enough to ruin somebody's career. I think maybe it could have been a little bit more tactfully compared.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, dude, just let the internet get her. Like, dude, they're already gonna like. And I mean, how many times has other famous people said bullshit and they got to keep their jobs? They just had to lay low for like a couple months and then everyone forgets about it. They do their job. There's still a group of like a couple thousand that are like, fuck them. They fucking me. But it's like, then we just move on because it wasn't really that huge of a deal because it just goes to show when you're on a platform and when you're famous, the what you say and what you can get away with changes.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way though. Like I think personally, if we even look back 5 years ago, it wasn't like that.
Oh yeah, not even close. And some people are saying just social media ruined everything. They say it ruined youth, it ruined being a high school kid, it ruined being an adult, it ruined being an actor. It's both nice because we have such a way of intercommunicating with everybody, but also it giveth and it taketh away just as easily, and that's the trade-off. I mean, everything's got to balance out somehow.
Yeah, here's the thing, and this is what I'm going to end it with because we do need to get back to the episode, but
yes.
Look, I think the people getting canceled who have actually hurt people, who have sexually assaulted people, who, the Weinsteins of the world,
right?
100% go for it. I don't give a fuck. Lock them away, right? The Bill Cosbys, you see, lock them away. But when it comes to opinions or jokes, literally jokes on social media, and people get canceled because their safe space got invaded, but the internet can't be a safe space because it's the internet. So what do they fucking expect? That's not right, in my opinion. Whether I agree with them or not, I'm just saying I stand up for people who voice jokes or opinions on social media. Okay, let's get back to the episode. I just needed to say my 2 cents on the whole situation. We need justice. Disney needs to be taken down a peg or two. They need to go. Hey, do you guys remember when they used to do like Nazi cartoons and shit? Look it up. All right. I will cancel Disney. Nazi cartoons.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there was a couple, it's just awesome, man. So go back, look at their older stuff, flood their Twitter with it, please. I'm asking you guys.
Right.
Let's bring it to the doorstep of Disney.
And I will put a big old cap on this by saying, you know what? You're allowed to be who you want to be. You can identify whatever you want to be. Let's end the politics. We enough of a deviation. We need to go back for the man from Taured.
Okay, yeah.
Because probably the now, 60 people who listen to our episodes have now gone down to 30.
Whatever, man. Yeah, it's probably just a bunch of Disney Plus subscribers that dropped. All right. Let's continue the episode. Thank you guys for sticking me out. I needed to get that off my chest in the only public forum I have. Thank you.
Yep. We got to express ourselves somehow.
Okay. So, like I said, the Japanese were baffled and scratching their heads. So in order to help convince them further, the man literally pulled out and showed them currency and banknotes from Taured, which after examination seemed legit to the men interrogating him. So they were like made of the same type of fabric that ours are made of, our US dollars. Mm-hmm. It seemed legit. And they're like, what the fuck? Right. It's weird.
That is extremely weird. I'm also I have another guess of what if Taured was just one of those, you can basically create your own like established nation. And it can be extremely small, but you can still if it's recognized by other countries, it can be, or even if it's not recognized, it's like you could still be a country. You could still print your whatever. Like I can move to a unclaimed island in the Pacific and turn it into Tasker land.
You could, but in the 50s, you'd be first branded a communist for having a sovereign nation.
Yes.
And it doesn't really explain the past stamps on his passport, where everything else had gone so smoothly until this point.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But it's weird. But it's an interesting theory, though. I've always thought about, the FBI don't come after me. I've always thought about having a sovereign nation and being a king, right? Being a monarch of my own nation. But I don't think it'll ever happen.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever watched Community?
No.
Okay, just because there's a funny scene I just saw where one of the guys is a big movie buff and lacks any and all social ability, but he ends up oddly enough, Joe Biden was gonna appear at their community college, and there's a bunch of security service special service
Secret
agents
Service
there, Secret Service agents. Holy shit. Secret Service agents there, and one of the Secret Service agents, because they're so serious, they end up like falling for each other. So he tells people how to make homemade napalm just so that he could get track buyers so they could spend more time together.
Nice. Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's love right there.
Thought you'd appreciate that. Anyways,
we'll do an episode on how to make. We'll do an episode on the anarchist cookbook one day.
Ooh, that could be good and dangerous.
It could be good, and then we'll get arrested, but it'll be fine. Whatever.
Yeah, if we can legally buy the book, then you know what, it's free press, but well, questionable at best. We'll take a look, see, and we'll see.
Yeah, I'll find it on 4chan, I'm sure.
Oh, not the best source.
Okay, so after showing them the banknotes, he's like, "Look, guys, I got all this physical proof. This is all I got. I'm just as confused as you guys are." He's like, "Look, Taured was located between France and Spain, and told them it had been an established nation for around 1,000 years already." So he's like, "How have you guys not heard of my country? It's been around for 10 centuries, dude. Like, it's like, what's happening here?" So the officers were still in disbelief. So they brought an actual physical map out and were like, "Okay, prove it. Show us where the hell Taured is on this map." And the man got this look on his face like he was about to end these guys' whole career, right? He's like, "Oh, you fucking idiots. You Japanese people are so xenophobic, you've never heard of my country." So as his finger goes down to the map and he points at where Taured should have been, it wasn't there. He was indeed pointing at the area between France and Spain that he had mentioned earlier, but what he was pointing at is what is now known as the Principality of Andorra, not Taured.
Not to be confused with the principalities from our Angels episode. Those that would be a much more scary situation for everybody.
Yes, then he's just in purgatory.
Yep, exactly. Which would be an interesting twist.
That would be a good twist. So the strange man was visibly confused, even more so at this point, because essentially his home country just got wiped off the face of the earth in his eyes. Like, he's like, "What the fuck?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
He reiterated the fact that Taured was over 1,000 years old, and because of this, it had to have been on this modern map that they were looking at. There was no way it should have not been there. And to add to the confusion bathing the entire room, the man said that this was his third trip to Japan just that year on business, and there had never been an issue with his passport, as the previous stamps from Japan will account for.
Sounds either like negligence or almost like a whole country just vanished under our noses.
Yes. Strange, right? So now the officers still completely dumbfounded and alarmed at this point. Which is something big, by the way. You have to remember, this is pre 9/11. It took a lot to alarm people at airports pre 9/11. You literally had to have been from a fake country to alarm people in airports back then.
Better days, man. A lot faster,
a lot better. You know, I don't have to fucking hide my 3-ounce shampoo in my crotch anymore, you know, just to be able to use it later. Fucking how the fuck am I going to hide anything enough to blow up an airplane in 3 ounces of shampoo?
Yeah, wasn't there a thing that came out saying that like most of the TSA like stuff like really doesn't help at all, and like shit like still happened and people still like managed to like get stuff on board because it's like what they do just really doesn't work. Yeah, but that's honestly why 9/11 was created. It was literally created. First of all, we all know the saying, jet fuel does not melt steel beams, okay? Fucking 9/11 happened on purpose so that they could put in, not only start 2 wars to get oil, but so that they could also get us used to the fact that we are now in a heavily regimented, maintained, authoritative society. Started with the TSA right after 9/11. Now traveling used to be fun, right? You used to get dressed up with your dame and you'd be able to smoke on planes, and there was like ashtrays and there was like cocktails that didn't have like little red straws in them, right? That was the biggest thing. And then fucking 9/11 happened. Now going to the airport traveling is a big pain in the ass. You have to go there like 4 hours early just to make your plane on time. Everybody's fat.
right? And that's just not helping at all. You can't smoke on airplanes anymore. And it's all because of 9/11.
I don't, I don't think all of those are because of 9/11, but I do got to say, see, I think an adjustment to what you believe. I think 9/11 was in fact caused by terrorism, but I think because we had fucking Dick Cheney in the government. I think the administration was so shitty when this tragedy happened. They're like, they just saw dollar signs. All they saw was, fuck yeah, here we go. This is what we needed. They were just a bunch of opportunists. And I definitely think that administration was evil as fuck. And yeah, the oil thing, 100%. The reason why they declared war, because they had public support for it. Because why wouldn't they? And I think they've been trying to find an excuse. They've been trying to find excuses to invade Iraq forever. And now they had it.
Hey man, potato. All right. You think that they're opportunists. I think that they are opportunists, but they just like to create their own opportunities.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Well, if we can find an inoffensive way to do it, maybe we'll get more into 9/11 conspiracies. But for now, we need to go back to Japan. Yes. We just got to make sure we show at least a little respect. Though before we get there, though, what was that one thing we found it? I found it earlier. You've already known about it, where it's the canonically was it like Kermit the Frog, like, or Big Bird, like, caused 9/11 or something like that? What was it? Muppets? It was a
Kermit,
Muppet, right?
Kermit did. Kermit caused 9/11 because of a movie that he was in, had the Twin Towers in it, and then something had to do with like time travel, right?
Yeah. Here, here, I have the post. It is actual Muppets canon that Kermit the Frog in some way had a role in bringing down the Twin Towers in the terror attacks of September 11, 2001. In a Muppets Christmas film released in 2002, Kermit is shown a glimpse of what New York City might look like if he had never been born. Among the scenery in this alternate reality NYC, we find none other than the Twin Towers proudly standing in the background. They were, of course, long destroyed in Kermit's normal reality. And yet, in the world without Kermit, the war on terror is missing its powder keg spark. Who would have thought that this green piece of fuck could commit a terror attack on U.S. soil, but it stands unimpeachable. We have concrete canon proof of involvement.
It's true, man. He's like,
hey guys, so Allahu Akbar, right? Well, yeah, change the camera angle just a little bit, and we'll cut his head off. And yeah, send the video on YouTube. People like YouTube, right? Yeah, people like that stuff. Hey, Allahu Akbar, let's cut his head off and let's get out of here, all right?
And to cap it off, at the end of the copy pause, it says Al Qaeda was the puppet this time, and Kermit was the hand within.
Yes, it's true. Okay, so I'm sorry I got us off track again, guys. I just need to point out that basically what I'm trying to say is it takes a lot to concern people in 1954 at an airport, and they were concerned. Right. Okay,
right. Glad the point has been sent off to the cosmos.
Yes. So at this point, everybody in the room is shitting bricks, right? The 3 security officers are shitting bricks because they think this dude is like psycho or trolling them or something. He's shitting bricks because he thinks they're psycho or trolling him. Yeah. So in order to get to the bottom of what was happening, the Japanese men decided to do some digging with the help of the authorities. And this is where it gets even more bizarre. Now, you see, the man from Taured claimed to be on a business trip to Japan as a representative from his country at a business, right? As he had done multiple times. But there was a problem with this, from what they found, the authorities. First, the company he said that he was there to do business with said that they were not expecting anyone under his name and have never heard of him. Second, the company he claimed to work for didn't exist at all. And finally, the hotel, which he said he had reservations at for his stay, said that they definitely did not have any reservations under his name.
Now, I have another theory.
Pop it out. What is it?
All right. I think, and this is ridiculous of me, but I think either it's a secret agent and with a really botched fucking story, or a really a big wannabe secret agent, or some sort of secret society with a plan, and shit just went awry, or maybe the briefing was wrong or something like that. Or it was an alien trying to fit in and who had a plan, and I don't know, something went wrong.
Interesting theories, and they make sense up to a point, but the problem is the end of the story.
Oh, okay.
And we'll get to it. But I like the way you're thinking. I like that your third eye is slowly getting that eye crust off of it, and it's slowly opening up. That's good. That's a good sign.
Yeah. Because I had Starbucks today where it was made with water not from the tap. It was filtered.
Good. Oh, thank God. All right. Now, next thing is just don't get that vaccine in your set, dude.
Yeah, and stop showering and drink more lemons, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, Tasker, really quick. I want you to imagine that you're in this man's shoes. Okay. You're at an airport. You're like, oh man, I can't wait to do business. Business is booming. Like however they fucking talked in the 50s, right?
Right.
Or in French. So he's like, I don't know. I'm not even going to try it. So naturally, after a while of this fucking madness that you find yourself engulfed in, you're going to become kind of pissed off, right? You're confused at first and you're trying to be cooperative, and then eventually you're just going to get angry.
Right.
It was no different for the man from Taured. He started getting pissed off, and he accused the security officers of playing some kind of joke on him. Basically a modern day of him saying, I'm being gang stalked, and you guys are gaslighting me or trolling me or something.
Yeah, that's a good subject we'll have to get into later.
Yes, I've been looking at a lot of shit about gang stalking. I've always liked it, but my God, people online are fucking crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. I remember at one point, we thought we were being gang stalked, and then we thwarted somebody was going to jump out at us and like scare us, but since we were so paranoid about being gang stalked, we ended up like ruining their whole joke.
Yeah, because we were like ended up like finding them. We're like, dude, that car followed us for like 3 turns, dude. And I'm like freaking out, man. There's somebody in the bushes. I hear something. We got to go check it
out. Yep. And our paranoia saved us from a jump scare.
Yep. So sometimes there is gang stalking, but most of the time it's not.
Yep. Very true.
I'm talking to you, Reddit. You guys are fucking crazy, man. You guys should go on that subreddit. It's fucking nuts. All right. So the man from Taured demanded to discuss this with a Japanese government representative so that this matter could be finally put to rest, right? Somebody who can handle relations between nations.
Right.
The airport officials and authorities agreed to get him in contact with someone from the government in order to hash out the situation. But they couldn't just call him up and have that government official there in 30 minutes like you're ordering a pizza. You know what I mean? You can't just be like, hey, we got another one, So he had to wait a bit. And they couldn't just detain him in the airport security lounge forever. So, and they couldn't actually detain him, like, how do I put this? Detain him with cuffs and with officers because, yes, it was suspicious, but he hadn't technically done anything wrong yet. Or, you know what I mean?
His only crime was the fact that they couldn't confirm his nation of origin. Like, he did everything else right. He had all the proper documentation, but then it's just the question of like, well, it's a very unique situation where it's like they didn't really have reasonable grounds to aggressively arrest him like they would in America.
Exactly. Yeah. In America, they would do it right away. If you got a towel on your head, it's over at the airport. You know what I mean?
Turban, you mean?
Turban, sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, if it was America, this guy'd already have 3 teeth on the ground and at least enough bruises to keep him settled for another week or 2.
Yeah, and he'd be halfway to Guantanamo already. So
honestly, yeah, they don't care here.
So what they decided to do was they essentially were like, hey, we'll buy you a hotel room in the airport's hotel that's right down the street, top floor, and we're just gonna have some security officers outside the door. But don't worry about it, right? Like you're not being detained, but you're kind of being detained, right?
Mm.
He was not to leave or exit, so he was or to enter, so he was being detained.
Yeah,
in a nice way.
Yeah, technically he wasn't legally allowed to be there, so they had to put him in a sort of more comfortable holding area. Which I mean, honestly, I would take the fucking free hotel room. Holy shit!
They got a room service.
Yeah, that sounds great.
When he was in the hotel room, now keep in mind throughout this part of the story, there are 2 guards outside, right outside his door. And he's on the top floor, which is 6 stories high. Okay. So the man from Taured did what you kind of do at a hotel. He ate some room service food. He slept for a little bit and kind of vibed, right? Waiting for the government official. The government representative finally arrived early evening, and the guards let him through. And the official knocked on the door, and nobody answered. So they were obviously a little concerned. Maybe they thought he was sleeping or whatever. So the guards opened the door. All three men went inside, only to find that the man from Taured disappeared along with all of his belongings that he had entered with.
Ooh, that's fishy.
Very fishy. So now let's look at what happened. The authorities tried to figure out how he escaped at this point. And it wasn't through the door to the suite, because the guards were posted literally all day. And they said that the only person to come in and out was the room service person. And that was only once.
And also, you said he was on the top floor. Suite. He got a suite.
It was a suite on the top floor. God. So they kind of treated it, it's Japan, right? They're gonna be really, really nice to you to your face, and then talk shit about you in Japanese behind your back.
True. But at least you get the hospitality.
Yeah. The only other way out of this room was through the window, but like I said, it was 6 stories up, and there wasn't a ledge outside the window to get on and shimmy around the building on, right? It was just a straight drop down. There's no ledges. And I don't have to, this goes without saying, but a drop or a jump from that height would kill you real quick. So this couldn't have been the exit that he took. Right. And not only that, but the window was actually shut when they entered the room to look for him. So it just didn't, the window was out, the door was out. Okay.
Well, he had all of his belongings with him too. And I'm no, geologist, or not geology, but what's it? The study of whatever, the wind and shit at 6 stories, that would blow you around pretty hard. When you're top heavy with all your shit. I mean, I don't know much about this guy, but I imagine he wasn't like the next ninja warrior.
Right. Nobody in the 50s was, right?
Right. There
was no steroids. There, exercise was considered
tobacco in your lungs.
Getting them those Marlboro miles. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the end of the story, guys, is that the man from Taured and all of his shit simply vanished into thin air. That's the end of the story, and nobody has ever heard from him again.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So one last theory I have before we get into him just being from a separate reality or whatever the fuck. Maybe because there was no trace of anything. Maybe it was something to do with the room service of no, but then we're already getting into separate realities, because I was like, what if I don't know, the room service person was his doppelganger, and when they got united, they fused into one, and they just walked out, and he just escaped like that. I don't know.
The point is you're trying, and the point is you're coming up with theories, and it makes me happy. It makes me actually very happy, especially when you're talking about doppelgangers fusing and shit that I would normally say. I'm proud of you.
When I think of it more like fun, cool sci-fi, then it's a little bit easier for me to wrap my head around it. That's
fair. And because it is kind of a sci-fi story. And I want everybody to keep in mind that this happened. This is a thing that happened. This is truth based in both Tasker and I's separate realities, and is a fact that meets both of our views of what a fact is. Okay. This 100% happened. This story that we just told you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's no debating that. The only debate is to what happened, how this happened, but the fact that this happened is not a debate.
And this isn't the first type of story of this nature. I know there's been plenty of them where people just vanished, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I would say the only real plausible of this Earth explanation is that there was something bigger going on that was planned by other folks, and maybe he got extracted by a certain way, or people were paid off to, maybe they did let him out, but the authorities, it was a big cover up, so they purposefully reported him missing and just vanished because there was something else at play, or it was covered up, or something so fucking crazy happened that they chose to, I don't know, he just vanished.
I mean, you're right. It could have very well been a a earthly cover up. It could have been something, but the thing is, then there's more that just, just like any of these theories, it leads to more questions than answers, because then what's the end game? What was going on that they had to cover this up? Did they find out that Taured is like an actual place somewhere, or that it's like on a different plane? Or it's just like, then boom, speculation goes even crazier.
Or maybe the man was a brainwashed messenger and Taured was the code word. And once it got to the higher ups, they're like, fuck, like, and deployed the whole thing, and then hence the cover up. So maybe it was an elaborate message that needed to be cut, like, to that point where, of course, they would use the the airport security as their like vehicle of getting the message out.
Maybe, yeah.
And maybe the whole thing was like, well, then what was the message and what did it cause? Or more of maybe less about what it caused, but maybe what it prevented.
What it prevented.
Who knows?
See, there's a lot of speculation as to what happened. But at this point in the episode, this is where we're going to start really digging into theories, okay? There are 3 main theories that we're going to talk about. I only included 3 because these are the main ones that people talk about, speculate upon. But Tasker, if you think of another one, feel free to throw it in, because there's literally no right answer, because we have no clue what fucking happened.
Interesting. Well, let's hear these top 3 popular ones.
Now, unfortunately, this is a popular theory, and it is the weakest, and I'm going to get it out of the way first. And it's bullshit, in my opinion, and you'll see why it doesn't add up.
Okay.
Now, some people believe that this was an elaborate prank or hoax put on by this man and a small group of people in order to pull it off. There are a couple things that stick out to me as red flags, among other things, with this theory. The first is that there seems to be no end game if it was a prank, right? There was no money that was made. It didn't seem like a ruse to get revenge on somebody. It certainly didn't give them any fame, because the man's name has been withheld by authorities all this time. That's why I keep referring to him as the man. So why the prank if it was a prank? You know what I mean? Like, there's no end game.
The only end game is putting yourself needlessly at risk just to waste everybody's time.
Yeah, or maybe they really wanted that Japanese room service meal, and they're like, the only way to get to there is this elaborate fucking Ocean's 11 like fucking weird thing to get to the hotel. I don't know. See, that's the point. There's nothing that proves to me it was a prank.
Yeah, and it's like, that's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot of risk and a lot of effort, a lot of intelligent effort to get a free room at a hotel, like that he didn't even spend the night at. Like, it doesn't really, like, I guess that could be the case if there is somebody who is just that
Jewish. If there's somebody that Jewish, God help them.
I was gonna say that much free time.
Oh,
but sure. I don't know. It's just saying, like, okay, I guess it could make more sense if I want to do it just to prove that I can do it in this sort of like vigilante, like, see, this is how good at infiltration I am, or something like that, or a way to prove a point. Maybe, but even then, that seems it's a little far-fetched.
And that leads me to the second thing, is how the hell could anyone make the escape he made without any outside help?
Yeah.
And I'm talking specifically, the guards were told not to let him out, and as far as we know, he didn't know the guards.
Yeah, unless it's like he had some like blueprints and there's some secret what prohibition,
like air ducts or like all this bullshit. Yeah, like it's
hidden. Yeah, like it's like a spy movie, and they researched the building, and at further inspection, maybe there was a secret way out, and maybe they found it out, and they're just like, well, we don't want people to keep exploiting this, so we're just going to say he just vanished.
Right, but then it's so weird to think about this stuff, because all the stretches that we have to make with our imagination are crazier than the other 2 theories I'm going to get into, honestly. It's just like that's why this prank or this like purposeful move, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. But something that people do theorize about the escape is that when the room service attendant came into the room with the little cart, that it was actually one of his accomplices, and that he hid in the bottom of the room service cart that has that little tablecloth draped over it. I'll be the first to say it's ridiculous, and this is not an episode of the Three Stooges. That doesn't happen in real life. So
yeah, what about all of his luggage? Like,
yeah,
I imagine, like, even if you just have one suitcase, like,
he had a suitcase and a briefcase, and himself in a one cart, and it doesn't look suspiciously heavy when you're pushing it out. Come on, you know what I mean?
Even if he was like a contortionist and managed to fit himself in the suitcase, like, yeah, I guess. But then it goes back to what was the end game outside of maybe they had an end game and they aborted last minute. That could be it.
I guess, but I just can't see it. I can't see what especially with the whole Taured like the whole Taured angle. Like, what did that have to do with anything? And it's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and maybe because it's like, I don't know. Like, the only guess I could see is them trying to get to a state official. And then when they put him in the hotel, but then they would have gotten to them anyways. They set it up for him. So why did they just get cold feet? And he just happened to be a contortionist with an escape plan. It just doesn't really add up.
It doesn't add up. And finally, the last red flag for this theory is, first of all, who in their right mind would prank an airport for seemingly no gain whatsoever? And I want to say, especially in Japan, shortly after the end of World War II, when they had kind of an itchy trigger finger because they were dishonored by getting nuked, right? So they were ready to kill any white person that they saw.
Most would consider it a dishonor to be nuked, I imagine.
Yes, especially them. It was very dishonorable, very dishonorable.
Well, also, too, and this is just like a bit of just, World War II lore. The thing is especially with the religion at the time, the leader of Japan had a sort of like godlike position in their religion. That's how they ran things. It was essentially their leader was their god, and their god was not supposed to lose ever, and that's why they were so confident in everything that they were doing. So when they surrendered after being nuked, which they didn't even surrender after the first nuke, the second one was what did it, because they realized that's why they were so didn't want to surrender that bad even after this devastation, is because not only was it their nation, but their entire religious belief hinged on it. So when he eventually did surrender, not only did they lose the war, but they lost every bit of solid base on their religion completely. And that was why there was the rise of Shinrikyo and a bunch of cults after World War II, because they imagine if just Christianity one day was just proven false. It'd be chaos.
Yeah.
It would be absolute fucking chaos if there was just somehow, some way, irrefutable proof that it was just fake and it just didn't work. That's basically what happened when Japan surrendered. So it wasn't just honor. It wasn't just all that stuff. It was their very way of life was completely shattered. So yeah, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, see, that's what happens when you bring a throwing star to a nuke fight. You know what I mean?
Horrible way to put it, but sure.
So basically, the point is, it was literally, it could have been a suicide mission just for some end game we don't know about, or a prank or something. So for me, I had to get this one out of the way. It just does not add up to me.
Yeah, I could see it too. Maybe they had an explosive, and then halfway through in the hotel, they realized it wasn't working anymore, and then they're like, "Shit! All right, let's get the fuck out." But it just seems more like a comedy than it is something that would have seriously happened.
Yeah. So that one doesn't add up. Unfortunately, a lot of people believe this one because if you haven't noticed, being a skeptic online is now more popular than opening up your fucking eyes to things that are actually happening. So most people just bring dumb evidence and dumb ideas to this, saying, "Hey, it was a prank, bro. It was just a prank." It's like, yeah, sure. Okay.
Filthy prank. It was just a prank, bro.
Okay. So all in all, theory doesn't hold much water. You guys know how I feel about it. Tasker doesn't even sound very convinced, which is good. So that's the first theory. Now let's get into the second theory. And we are going to be talking about time travel, ladies and gentlemen.
Cool. See, this, I kind of could see where this was heading. So yeah, I love how time travel is just both the most confusing and convoluted thing ever, but also it raises a lot of cool, interesting questions.
It does. And you know what? That leads me into my first point. It is a complicated subject. Time travel definitely deserves an episode all on its own. So we aren't going to be getting into specific theories, and I'm not going to be talking about your fucking flux capacitors and shit and saying great Scott. I'm not going to be doing it. Not today. And I refuse to keep referencing Back to the Future over and over again. You just call me a chicken? Nobody calls me chicken, right?
Right.
So just the basics is what we're going to be going over for the story of time. Like, just like, we're not even really talking about it.
Nick looks so proud of himself right now, in case any of you guys were curious.
I fucking love that movie. Dude, I love Back to the Future. All right. Love it. God, I think it was the incest. I think the incest really just, that did it for me.
Just awakened something in you, and you were never the same, huh?
Yeah, for sure. You know, like you ever at like a dance in the 50s and your mom's trying to make out with you in your car?
No. All right, I'm curious to see how you get out of this one.
I'm not getting out of it. It sounds groovy, man. I don't know.
Just letting it happen, huh? Oh, wow.
Okay, so not getting into specifics with time travel, guys. Just go with it. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So this is how the theory goes along. A strange man from the future shows up on a plane at an airport. He goes to get his passport stamped, as usual, as he has done many times. However, he realizes he grabbed the wrong passport and forms of ID and immediately begins to panic, knowing that he left the passport and information he should have brought for his travels to the future, to the past at home, and he brought his modern day passport with him that says Taured. Okay. The officer brings him in for interrogation, and he needs to sell the fact that he is from a place called Taured, but he knows it will be impossible because Taured won't exist for another couple centuries. He goes through the motions, playing stupid, acting up, then getting approval to meet with a government official. He just needs to get a loan, and he can use his time machine, whatever it may be. Remember, we're not getting into specifics. And he just needs to get a loan to use it again to return to his timeline. Now, as a side note, you see the strange man had a briefcase on him at all times. This is something that was fact. And it wasn't said that the officers searched it because technically, remember, he hadn't done anything illegal at this point. They were just trying to figure it out. So they didn't really have the right to, like, I don't know what the laws are in Japan. I imagine in Japan, they can do whatever they want. But I imagine they hadn't searched the briefcase.
Yeah, probably a little bit more lax in America, in which case you would have already gotten gut punched and, fondled.
Yeah. And they would have given you a very unnecessary cavity search.
Something that almost seems like off the books.
Yeah, it's like, hey, is this getting in the report? Don't worry about it. Now bend over.
Yeah. Don't worry. It'll make it to the report. Don't worry. It'll make it. This is all important.
Yeah, this is super important. Snaps the glove.
Oh, what a country we live in.
So supporters of this theory say that in his briefcase, there was a portable time machine that is fairly common in his future. And something I want to talk about for a second is, what was he doing going back to the past? We don't know. That's another place for speculation. Was he preventing something from happening? Was he an agent that prevents things from happening or tries to make things happen that should have happened? Or was it like a vacation? Or, there's a number of reasons why. I mean, I would go back to the past if I had a time machine at my disposal just to fuck around. So maybe he was fucking around. I don't know.
See, the only thing I don't subscribe to is I don't think time travel would be so, like, accessible. I feel like when invented, unless it's stupid easy to pull off, like they find out it's like the only thing you need for time travel is like a handful of grass, we'll say vinegar and brown mustard, and that's all you need. Well, okay, then sure. But if it's complicated, if it takes a process, I don't think it would be readily available.
I think in the future we will have readily available time travel because it's okay. It's like cellular phones, right? Cell phones. It's complicated. It started out real complicated, and only specific people could have it, and it was fucking big. And now every fucking 8-year-old I ever see has one. And I'm like, dude, when I was your age, I never had one, right? I think the same thing is going to happen. Sure, it'll take longer, but I think the same thing is going to happen with time travel and time travel devices, because once something's developed, the first thing people start doing is, how do we make money off this with the general public, and how do we make it smaller, and how do we make it more compact so you can not live without it anymore, and then they suck your soul out, you know what I mean? The same thing might happen with time travel. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think of the movie Looper, where it's like, if there's time travel, what's the first thing that happens is criminals begin to exploit it and use it in a way that they can, make money, kill people in the past, so there's no body. Like, it's just, I just don't think it would be that readily available, unless there's a case where somebody invented it secretly, released a readily available, and made it so too fucking bad now everybody can do it.
Maybe. But, like I said, perhaps he was an agent working for some kind of government agency that has access to portable things, and his job was to like move around in time in order to like prevent things from happening or make things happen, so that could solve that question.
Here's just something I just kind of thought of, but because personally, I feel like if we ever did have time travel, I feel like we'd only be able to go to the future. I feel like going to the past, it's already happened. Like, I think to me, I just don't feel that as possible. But what if going under that assumption, what if there was an algorithm they developed where it doesn't bring you to the past, but is an algorithm that is somehow able to pinpoint and accurately recreate what exactly every human was doing at that time? So I guess in some sort of like Assassin's Creed DNA kind of way. So in a way, you could visit a virtual past where it's exactly as it would be, but it's not the real past. So, you could do whatever the fucking hell you want, and it just wouldn't really affect, the future.
See, Tasker, this is where it gets convoluted. Because first off, going back in time, I don't think would affect things in the future. I think that time is on a grid. Okay. So instead of just going horizontally, I think that there's a whole other 3-dimensional access where you can end up at different quadrants, right? And so basically what happens is you go back in time, but it's not your past that you know of. And maybe they'll find a way to pinpoint exactly which part of the grid they want to go to. Like, in this specific timeline at this specific date, something happened that didn't happen in any other timeline. And then I don't know, man. See, this is where it gets convoluted. This is where it's like, I don't know.
Well, and just to jump on that, because you got me thinking now, if we're talking about like timeline isn't just a straight line, it's like, it's bumps and bruises. So in some timelines, in our present, in this reality in 2021 is 1851 in a separate reality. But in terms of reality time, we're both occurring at the same time. So time travel would simply just be skipping to a different reality that is in 1851.
Yeah, like it's a different timeline and a totally different reality. So things you do in the past won't affect your future.
Yeah, so you're not necessarily hopping back in time on your timeline because it's already happened, but you're simply hopping to a timeline that is that era that which creates a whole other slew of problems because now you're fucking up other timelines. But also there's that idea of what if time is a thing where it is already, what is it they say, that time is written in ink and it's already dried. So in a way, you going back in time and fucking with it was already perceived in the timeline to begin with.
And then there's probably a different reality timeline where you've done that already.
Yeah, it's already accounted for. So you think you're fucking it up, but actually that was
meant to, you had to do it. And that's going to happen. That's why we don't have free will. Literally, we don't have free will.
I like this episode. I'm having fun. This is cool.
My head hurts, but it's fun.
Right on.
So, let's just imagine right now that he has some kind of portable time machine in his briefcase. That's what this theory kind of depends upon. And the strange man lucks out. Remember, he's trying to get to a place that's secluded so he could use this machine to get back to his timeline. And they take him to a secluded hotel room. He decides, hey, I'm here. I may as well eat a bit and chill. I'd probably do the same fucking thing. Honestly, it's free food. So, and then after a bit, he uses the time machine and poof, back to his timeline with no trace left behind. This theory is a little bit more my speed compared to the last one, and it's not completely brain dead like the last one. Now, the only thing missing here, like we talked about, is why was he visiting our timeline in the first place? And there's like Tasker and I just speculated all that. We don't know, but he was here for a reason, or maybe he was, I don't know. We don't know. But he was here. That's the point.
Yeah.
And he kind of got into hot water because it's one of those things, guys, where it's like the whole situation and this theory boils down to, fuck, I grabbed the wrong wallet.
And he probably got fired for it afterwards.
He probably did. Like he accidentally brought his civilian from Taured, which is assumedly a actual country in the future, and didn't grab his government stuff, which was tailored to where he was going in time.
So this is our mission to you. It is not going to be within our lifetime to see if Taured ever exists, but you need to pass it on to your children and have them pass it on to their children. Keep an eye out. And a couple generations down, once Nick and I have passed our mantle to the 8th hosts of Close Encounters, we'll see if it proves it.
Please do. For the love of God, I need to know, even in my afterlife. Remember, it's supposed to be right in between France and Spain. Okay. That little area right there, that's right now the Principality of Andorra, should eventually, hopefully, turn into Taured. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right. And let's move on to the last and, in my opinion, most probable theory. We are, of course, talking about interdimensional shifts. So,
oh dear.
Yes, and not only that, but accidental interdimensional shifts, which is more common than you would imagine. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. So as the strange man that we've been talking about, was on his plane ride to Japan on a business trip like usual, something happened to where his dimension essentially shot him into our dimension and our reality.
Oops.
Oopsies. So he comes from a dimension clearly very similar to ours, except one of the main differences is that there was indeed an established nation called Taured in his dimension. Simple as that. Remember, guys, with the multiverse theory, there are infinite amounts of different dimensions and universes out there which have just the slightest difference. Like there could be a dimension where Tasker and I speak slightly faster, and that's the only difference in that dimension. There's literally dimensions for everything out there.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting. I'd be interested to meet all of like the versions of our podcast, but like as different races, to see how the different Nicks stack up.
Probably just the same. Probably, yep. I'm probably just still yelling at all the races. It's probably just the same.
Which one could argue could be a source of power, the fact that you could sync up with your parallel dimension selves.
Yeah, and I could become the ultimate being.
That'll be interesting. Can't wait to see your takeover. Hopefully by episode 420.
Yeah. Dude, blaze it, man. Give me some weed, brother.
Oh, man.
So imagine that he came from a dimension where one of the only differences, if not the only difference, is that in his dimension, the Principality of Andorra, as we know it, is simply known as Taured. Mm-hmm. That could have been the only difference. So this would also explain his inexplicable escape from the hotel room as well. Now, you might be thinking to yourself that it's quite the coincidence that not only was he randomly selected by fate to shift into our dimension, but he was also lucky enough to be brought back to his own dimension, right? Mm. That sounds like a skeptic's wet dream, that argument right there.
Right.
I have a rebuttal for that. And this is a personal theory of mine, but I think that it makes sense. So our vibrations that we have that we all have, you, me, everybody in this dimension has, matches our dimension of origins vibrations, which essentially ties us to that dimension spiritually. Mm-hmm. So if we accidentally step into another plane of reality, we have a higher chance of being beckoned back by our dimension because of that spiritual tie, that vibrational tie.
Right.
That's my theory as to why it seemed like such a huge coincidence that he got brought back all of a sudden. I think that naturally we're just inclined to be shifted into our dimension if we accidentally shift out. That's just me.
I could see that. Or it could be the miso soup ended up being the key.
The
And
key.
that's
The ultimate miso soup with, he's like, please no tofu. They're like, have the tofu. It'll help.
We'll send you back. Well, I could believe that too, where it's like, I feel like if the vibrations are sensitive enough to thrust you into a different dimension, I do think, okay, here's what I think is that, okay, if he was there for like months, I would say he's kind of shit out of luck. But I think if you are going to be able to get back, it would be shortly after you get there. To me, that would be the most plausible. So did he get lucky? Yeah, a little bit, but probably less reliant on luck than we might think. There might be some credence as to why. It's almost like, you know, when you get hit in a video game, you have those like, you know, those invisibility frames. Like there's that little pocket you have where it'll be easiest to get back, but so eventually you'll get locked in. It's almost like your vibrations are a little out of whack for just a little bit.
Exactly. And that leads me into something that I think we should talk about is I've talked about dimensions multiple times on this podcast, different dimensions, different planes of reality, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Right.
We've talked about how ghosts are most likely having a shift themselves, but just not fully getting into our dimension. And it's just basically beings or other people or something from another dimension that is living on top of us, but has this slight shift where they kind of come in and out, and they're like having issues. Like they're basically, their vibrations are having issues for some reason matching their dimension. And I think that this in this man's case was just a case where his vibrations just completely dropped him, and his vibrations ended up matching our dimension. But his original vibrations came back, and he was brought back to his dimension. That's what I think happened here.
See, I like that theory. I think it's a cooler, like, universe in a way. Like you said, that there's a sort of spiritual connection we have to where we came from. Like, that's cool. And that to me makes sense. Like, you know, there would be this sort of magnetic callback to wanting to be in your dimension. It's like in Into the Spider-Verse, you know, when you're out of your dimension for too long, it fucks with you and you'll get stuck, and it fucks up the balance, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So personally, and also one other thing to point out with this theory is, considering that this is a dimension hop, considering it was an accident, it would explain his complete confusion as to why he couldn't find Taured on the map, why he was confused as to why the Japanese officers in our dimension were even interrogating him about a subject that he found so trivial as to like a country that exists in his mind.
Yeah.
So he had no fucking clue that he jumped a dimension, and that's just the way that usually dimension hopping happens, is on accident.
Yeah, it's like, I've been doing this shit every single time. Like, why the fuck is this a problem now? And when we pointed to the map, that was probably the like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Hold on. And this guy, I mean, like you said, he sounded like a regular businessman. He doesn't believe in interdimensional travel. He doesn't know what the fuck is happening either.
Yeah, he's like, he has no clue. So, and then boom, he probably had no clue. He probably, when he got brought back to his dimension, he probably woke up in a hotel room and he's like, expecting like a government official, because he still thinks he's in that dimension. And he looks outside, there's no guards, nothing ever happened like that. And he's like, what the fuck?
Well, and they probably have in their dimension the story of the man from Taured who just appeared in a fucking random hotel, who was just like, is this Japan? Like,
yeah, it's weird, man. But honestly, this is my favorite theory of the whole thing, and I think to me this makes the most sense.
I'd have to agree. I mean, yeah, we could go into all the like the blah blah. Oh, contortionist hiding in his buddy got him out, thwarted attempt. Like, I don't know. I feel like this one's a little bit better. I think in terms of like, we don't understand interdimensional stuff. Like, there's no way we can understand it. It's kind of beyond us. And that opens things up a bit for a little bit more of a reasonability of saying, we used to say there's some interdimensional shift stuff. I mean, to me, that's more or less how I believe in ghosts, is that sort of that like phasing in between dimensions, but also there is that idea of, like we talk about with magic, a lot of it is like willpower. And who's to say that with dimensions, with magnetism, with all that stuff, that willpower can't in a way manifest itself? And, you know, I don't know, maybe.
No, you're making a lot of sense. And you know what? When you're making a lot of sense to me, you should be scared.
It's how I can tell that I have an empty stomach, that my coffee's starting to wear off, and the hangover I've been suppressing this entire time is starting to leak out.
Well, I'm still proud of you, man. You made a lot of progress on this episode. I'm happy with the theories you came up with. I'm very surprised you agreed that was the best theory. I'm pleasantly surprised.
It's because I'm starting to allow myself to have more fun. I'm allowing myself to enjoy my life more, that I don't have to be cranky at all times. That, you know what, sometimes you can embrace things that are a little bit more exciting. Well, good. And it's okay to enjoy yourself. It is very okay to enjoy yourself. And good for you, man. Good for you, dude. I'm proud of you. I'm happy about that. It just makes sense. And we've been talking about dimensions for a while now, and it kind of just shows what we've been saying in this one story. And we could cap it off with a hashtag feels good, man. Feelsgoodman.jpg. Well, damn right. That was it for The Man from Taured. Weird story. Very much a weird story. We seem to forgot we did have a couple of hypotheses that that Count Chocula might have been a victim escaping. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, I mean, maybe he was the one responsible for it. Maybe not so much escaping, but it was a botched kidnapping attempt. So you think he was on this man was on the run, and Count Chocula was close on his heels? Well, I think the man was unaware it was Count Chocula at all. I think Count Chocula made an attempt to grab him because, as we all know, he lives in a sort of like pocket dimension, or like a dimension of just desolation. So that way he could be on top of us and being here without being here. Right. So I think he, I don't know, maybe this guy had the right blood type or whatever the fuck he was trying to do. And it's sort of like when I feel like when you're trying to grab somebody from their reality, it's like trying to grab a bar of soap, it could slip out, it's not an easy thing to grip. And I think it just slipped out. And this dude is just la-di-dawing his way into the accidental wrong dimension. So with that being said, either, like we were talking about before, he could have just gotten phased back because he just kind of, it just lined up, because Count Chocula obviously is a heartless bastard. He doesn't care. Or maybe Count Chocula was like, try it again. And maybe he's just, not as good at kidnapping as he thought. Maybe it was his first botched attempt. Maybe he is fallible. Yeah. But maybe the disappearance was caused by Count Chocula trying again and succeeding into bringing him into his dimension. Very true. And the only thing I can say to keep us feeling confident, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Yes. Words of wisdom. Literally anything, guys. A bug, a baby, a bear, me, Tasker. True. Deer. Yeah. What else bleeds? A lot of things. Most things on the planet Earth bleed. Oh. Rocks. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Unless it is already dead, which most rocks, to my knowledge, are. I mean, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that true? Hey, man, rocks have souls, dude. Why do you think they vibrate, bro? Why do you think they have vibrations? Awesome. Thank you for listening, everybody. Well, we appreciate you being there, and we appreciate you listening to us. We hope, because what is it? Nothing crazy is really going on for the rest of the month, as far as I know, right? I don't think so. No, I mean, we're recording on President's Day, but who gives a shit, Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, it's just a free day off. Like, we don't give it. Presidents, I'm sure there was a time when presidents were a little bit more revered and respected and really were just the great leaders that we needed. But nowadays, sometimes they are, but there's always an agenda and there's always something to take care of, but what's changed? Am I right? You are right. Those goddamn lizard people, man. As it shall be. But if you're listening on iTunes, if you could leave us a 5-star rate and a review, that would really help us bring our average up. That would be super, super, super helpful, actually. Spotify, you can click that follow button. We have new episodes every Wednesday, as per usual. Instagram is at CEOTPK. Our YouTube channel, Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind, where you will find all of our episodes. And sometime in the future, once we workshop something, maybe small videos and maybe small live streams. It will be fun, and we'll let you know and keep you updated on that. Twitter is at CEOTPK1. Our Facebook, Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind, where you will find all the above links. You can email us at ceotpk1@gmail.com. Join our Discord, discord.gg/lowercase b, number 6, capital C, capital T, number 5, capital M, capital X. If you feel the need to give us any money, we have coffee, ko/fi.com/CEOTPK. To the anonymous donator from last time, thank you so very, very much. We put that right into our show, and the costing it takes to like host the show and like all the fancy schmancy stuff that we use. Anything helps, anything's appreciated, but don't feel the need. It's not required, I guess.
Yes, thank you, anonymous person. And you did put Anon, which makes me think you came straight from 4chan, didn't you? Didn't you? We've leaked onto the boards, haven't we? Oh, buddy.
Which means we might get review bombed very soon. So that's why iTunes rate and review, guys. We're just trying to build up our defenses for when the inevitable crash comes.
That's right. And again, thank you all for all the new listeners. You know, we noticed a little bit of a surge, and we appreciate you all taking the time to listening to our crazy bullshit. It means a lot.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you all here. It's always a pleasure to hear from you.
That's right. And look, everybody. First off, don't let yourself get culture canceled. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Second, whether you think that shifting in and out of dimensions is easier than time travel or not, just remember that the truth is out there.
Curiously enough, cancel culture really mostly affects people in Hollywood and California. So in a weird way, statistically, your chances of being canceled are pretty much slim to none. So yeah, it's not.
And I misspelt where on the outline, and that's going to bug me. Let me redo that.
Very proud of you.
Jesus. Okay.
Nice.